What's up, everyone? Welcome back to FLUTI Seeding Tournaments, the grand finals. Two teams that I don't think a whole lot of people, except for Bio, expected to be at the top. It is Nightmare, who absolutely smashed through the field against Shadowbolt, upsetting Zenith with a big upset and winning a very good set against Nabel to fight here in the grand finals. The pressure is through the roof as these teams are preparing for a good seed, and of course the infinite bragging rights of winning FLUTI 4. Is it FLUTI 4? Yeah, I believe it's FLUTI 4 Division S. Remember, this is the top division of FLUTI. We're gonna start it off right here on a big Splatoon 1 map. Clan Blitz on Museum Alfonsino. Bio, what do you think these teams will bring out here in Museum?
All I'm thinking is that I am really glad because I beat you with predictions. That's true. That's true. That is all I'm happy. That's all I'm happy. You know, my beloved Nightmare made it all the way to Grand Finals, and your favorite Mango Ekmek lost 2-0 to them. So, you know, all I'm saying is I'm pretty happy with myself. But hey, regardless, it is still Grand Finals. Nightmare still have to deal with a very strong opponent, Shadowbolt, showing off really what they were made of, not only in the last stream match, but also throughout the tournament. And yeah, let's look at, like I said, let's look at this game 1. Clan Blitz on Museum de Alfonsino. Another community classic. You know, ever since the beginning of Splatoon 3, this has been in pretty much every single map list. Everyone loves playing this map. It's probably one of the better Clan Blitz maps in my opinion. Allows for a lot of diversity in the way these teams can go about it. But aside from that, kind of anything goes here. A lot of strategies are viable just because of how well the map is designed. So in my opinion, I think it's just a wait and see, so as to what these teams are going to be bringing out onto the table.
Yeah, I'm interested as well because it's a big map, and Clan Blitz in Splatoon 1, you know, it wasn't there yet, so strategies will have to be developed for this game, and we couldn't really copy what we had from previous games onto this specific map because it wasn't there. We're gonna start it off right here, and now two very nice, similar-looking comms. They're still, you know, having their own variation of it, but the sniper, like the weapon picks, are still the same. The biggest difference, of course, being the I guess the special choice, which really sets him apart. Splash Medic against Better Shot, 96 against 52, and the normal slot strength against the machine. So it's really the specials which are more separating these teams from having the exact same club. Other than that, it's not all too different. Let's see how it is going, as Shadowbolt is definitely being pushed back in their spawn. Is Shadowbolt definitely pushing Nightmare back into their spawn? I thought Nightmare was purple for a second because of the color, but it looks like Shadowbolt is the one team who's going in very hard against Nightmare. They already have a Power Clamp, thrown it in. Power Clamp is in the basket. Craptank is out on the field doing absolute crazy damage. Can the Shadowbolt follow up onto this first push? So I don't think they can, as no one's left onto the field to start throwing more clamps into that basket. Only 20 points scored, which is not great for your opening pushes. It's the only push where you don't have a penalty applied here by you. Now Nightmare is trying themselves to prepare for a push, but Shadowbolt is still holding on to that middle zone for dear life.
Yeah, Shadowbolt with the aggressive push, but not that much value is going to come out from just a power clamp thrown in. But regardless, they are still holding on to that aggression that they've been showing off these past few games, getting 2-3 picks. Nick going wild here on the front lines. Valis with that 96, looking to push with the Kraken, but the ball falls off. That's going to delay Shadowbolt push a lot. They might be getting a ton of picks, but it's not going to foil. But it's not actually going to result in anything if they can't get the basket open in time. They do manage to get 2 power clamps in. That is going to move their score all the way to 50. The cost is quite high. 3 members going down, and it's giving Nightmare a ton of space. Not exactly what you want to see if you are Shadowbolt. But hey, regardless, the numbers speak for themselves. A lead of 50 is nothing to scoff at, especially as we just hit the halfway mark on this game. And as we have Kiwi in this really aggressive flank position to stall out time for their team, is going to be devastating for Nightmare if they can't deal with it fast enough. Kiwi breaking some ankles here on the board is going to clear out a ton of players on the side of Nightmare and give Shadowbolt some space to finally get some of their presence known in the middle of the map.
Yeah, it's a middle of the map, something Nightmare really wants to be, because they haven't really been there a whole lot, and it looks like they're still struggling to get into the middle part of the map. The middle map of Museum Club is a little bit restricted. You have to be invited to be there, but luckily Nightmare decided to accept the invitation finally and start pushing the base of Shadowbolt as well, with 12 clams in their hand and a power clam added already. The Kraken is defending that base. Valid with a very decent Kraken to push people out of their base. Nightmare wasn't able to score that power clam, unfortunately, and there it got destroyed as well, meaning they had to start all the work they just did all over again, as Shadowbolt is already preparing to push onto the middle part of the map and pushing into the spawn as well. Nightmare is just not having a time of their life. Shadowbolt again just being so strong. Fellas gets battled here by being way too greedy. Tacticooler was forced out though by Nightmare, so that's good for Shadowbolt, meaning they don't really have Tacticooler on when Shadowbolt is pushing in deep. But there's no power clam on the field yet for Shadowbolt, so they can't really push in that deep. But they still have a decent point lead. With about a minute and 15 seconds left, you don't really have to push in anymore, especially if there's no single point scored by Nightmare. But that might be about to be changed though, as Nightmare gets a quick spell on 2 players on the side of Shadowbolt.
Yeah, Shadowbolt is really content just playing this slow, trade-heavy gameplay just because it's going to benefit them. They have a nice lead. Nightmare haven't even scored a single power clam. Shadowbolt are content just playing this slowly, which is what they're doing. Nightmare is commonly getting caught in the middle of the maps. Miner actually going to get his Booyah Bomb canceled. Not what you want to see, Tuco, but the Shadowbolt is going to lose one of their members. They're still holding on to those tri-strikes from the Slosher. If Nightmare ever decide to push, and that is what we're going to be seeing, Nick still trying to stay alive, not quite, it is going to happen, but they died with the tri-strikes, and now with just 20 seconds remaining, Nightmare with some renewed life, a second wind in them, is going to start pushing up very aggressively. They don't see Joe, and Joe gets 1, gets 2, clears the way, gets 3, clears the way for Nightmare. Finally, power clam, but this Kraken could break everything if they're not careful. Just one more clam. They just need one more clam. And last clam. This is just what we saw at the very beginning of this single elimination. Very fitting to have it in grand finals. A last minute comeback with that final clam. Seal the deal and giving Game 1 against Shadow.
There is no way. There is no absolute way that this happened twice in a single tournament. But no, here we are. This is what the top of Splatoon looks like. All those weeklies are nothing compared to the amount of strategies and absolute top gameplay thrown around here. Nightmare with that 1 clam clutch at the end of overtime again through a Kraken as well. Unbelievable. 50 points was not enough for Shadowbolt as Nightmare just took it out of their hands. Now, however, a new map onto the field. I just looked it up. It is Shipshape Cargo Co. I'm gonna forget that name in 5 seconds. It's such a weird map name. Don't you think? Like 1 second. Don't you think it's a weird map name? Shipshape Cargo Co.
Shipshape Cargo.
I think I just called it Shipshape Cargo. It would have been fine, but I had to add code. Anyway, a new map which I think will shake it up a tiny little bit here for these teams because they're not used to this map at all. This map has been out for 17 days, so. They're thinking we're still finding the optimal strategy to it. We're still experimenting a little bit. So we have to see what these teams are going to bring out. I think they're going to play it a little bit safe, picking out the weapons that they know and that they love. We see the ballpoint coming out on the side of Nightmare. We see Sangura still holding dear onto that sniper, knowing it is such a strong weapon here on Splatstone. Zone also big in the middle with a connecting bridge. You can jump across to the enemy side to wreak some havoc. A nice flank, which more maps in this game need. Nick going over and just demonstrated right away, getting a very early splat onto the machine, and a very good capture here for Shadowbolt to start scoring some points for them. With 2 players down, I don't think they're going to hold on to the zone for that much longer as Nightmare swoops in and starts scoring some points of their own.
Yeah, Nightmare showing off that aggression that they're known for, but Shadowbolt not giving up without a fight. Nick once again showing off what they're made of with that bucket is going to be approving some nice picks with those tri-strikes, with that main weapon, with those bombs. They are going to get canceled out by Joe, but that is a trade that's only going to benefit Shadowbolt as they hold on to this zone. They do not have any online, unfortunately, but Sungura is working fervently to get that tactical on the board, which they are going to be able to do to go down the side of Shadowbolt. They're going to come back quickly with that tactical, though. This Inkjet is going to get quite a bit of value, but if they can't deal with the members of Shadowbolt, which come back quickly, with Nick getting another 2 picks, it's gonna be all for naught. And whatever progress Nightmare managed to get on the zone in those short few seconds of their capture are going to be reverted, as Shadowbolt once again proving their aggressive potential to the max. Going to be holding down the fort. Chuko down the side of Nightmare once again. Shadowbolt, Nick on this top right side going ham. It's only the splatter shot left on the side of Nightmare, and Shadowbolt once again take back the zone without giving Nightmare a chance to even break past their initial penalty.
Yeah, it's just so annoying for Nightmare because every time they do something, Shadowbolt is so quick to respond and shut it down. Again, 2 players already are down, including a ballpoint splatting, and that's not looking good because the range is so crucial. The going back in is so needed to get some ground, to get some turf, and to have that support backliner out in the field. It is extremely important to push back in here, and the Shadowbolt is absolutely denying it, splatting him again. Vanis with a very cheeky splat onto Blue. Got rid of the ballpoint. It is huge with only 5 ticks remaining. 2-1-0. That's a knockout on Nightmare, turning Shadowbolt's Nightmare into a 1-1 match and showing that Shadowbolt is not done yet and they are waiting to win. They're not coming or losing the entire set after a single clutch from Nightmare. They're showing it right here that we are not done. We are still fighting and we are going to win this tournament right here. And that's exactly what we want to see on FLUTI 4 as division. Going next up will be Rainmaker. Ooh, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. That's where it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. Rainmaker on Undertow Spillway, probably one of the most popular maps for this mode, Rainmaker, and for good reason too. That it has 2 very viable ways to approach the getting those points racked up, and especially with some of the specials that we're going to be seeing from these 2 teams, that Tri-Zuka, those Tri-Strikes, that Tacticooler are going to be really, really beneficial here if they can play their cards right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I also don't talk about the Snipe Rider because it's a little bit of a niche in Rainmaker, but in the map, the fact that this only has long straights and nothing else, it can be also very strong here, so hoping to see that as well. However, that ballpoint can also wreak absolute chaos, and this exactly is what Rainmaker is about. It's a very chaotic game mode. The objective is only moving, but you can also really create your own path, which I like about it. And U2 Alley is so perfect. I meant Undertow Spillway. Undertow Spillway is so perfect for that, giving you 2 very broad options, left or right, both with just risks and rewards. One being faster, with one being safer. That's exactly what we like to see here. Now these teams are playing their absolute A-game. Nightmare and Shadowbolt. I like these names, by the way, like, especially next to each other. Like, it sounds like which team is the more edgy one. Like that's something somewhere in my heart. Just they're not even fighting for the FLUTI crown, they're fighting on the bragging right to be the more edgy team name.
Oh my goodness. No. Nightmare versus Shadow? Oh jeez.
See what I mean?
No. But hey, I mean, you know, honestly, I prefer to be to loot the edge battle, but get the tournament win, and that's what we're seeing here. Already an explosive, get it? You know, Rainmaker explosion, whatever. Explosive opening from both teams. Not any picks coming out on either side, but both teams have that tactical going on. It's going to be a trade with Joe on a really aggressive flank here on the left side. Not too much, just because of the way the map is designed, unfortunately, but Nightmare is not doing too hot to go down on their side. Shadowbolt pushing up with these tri-strikes from Nick, getting quite a bit of value. Going to be chasing down the left side. Joe goes down, and so Girl running to the left side, but they get caught out by Storm, which just barely managed to break the momentum, and now the crab tank on the side of Shadowbolt is just a sitting duck, not able to get the value that they wanted, just because that Rainmaker couldn't even get out of mid, and what could have been a very disastrous push for Nightmare just got shut down, and Shadowbolt are back to square one.
Yes, it's not really the push that Shadowbolt was imagining, but hey, that happens sometimes in Splatoon. It's something you have to deal with, it's something you have to improve on, but it looks like these teams are still very much 50-50 onto the map control. Big Booyam coming out here for Nightmare with the pop there as well, allowing them to get a push in, but Ame Kiwi is just not letting it happen. The Rainmaker's being picked up though, and Kiwi gets splattered, so does Valid. That means 2 players are down for Shadowbolt, and that Nightmare has a free pass onto that Rainmaker checkpoint, but they lost 2 players on their own, of their own now, meaning their push is not going to go all too far. The other 2 players are still stuck in mid. The Rainmaker will probably be reset by Shadowbolt, who are looking to pop it again in the middle and start their own push, because the first checkpoint is so crucial. Getting rid of it early, because it's going to prevent you pushing further. Is going to have time wasted for you, allowing the players of the enemy team to respawn, and that's not something you want to have. You want to stay down as long as possible, especially if you are Shadowbolt, who are looking to come even stronger after winning the last game.
Yeah, but still, Shadowbolt are really trying to make something happen. Sungura running off to the left side. There are no members once again of Nightmare to defend this. They do manage to move forward. Oh! Let them take the checkpoint. That is massive. That is a massive save from Nightmare. Once again, they are doing a great job of shutting down these pushes from Shadowbolt at the last second before they can. But still, 2 down at the side. Not exactly what you want to see, and Shadowbolt with 3 specials online. That is massive. Then still a lot of picks coming out onto Nightmare. They are just struggling to stay alive. Shadowbolt happy on this left side, just holding it. They have those tri-strikes. They have to try Zuka, but they still lose their Rainmaker. They can't keep Sungura alive, with Nightmare just having the shooters flank the Rainmaker and take them out. They do manage to edge out the checkpoint, and they are most likely going to take lead as they run with the Rainmaker right now. They're going to be opting to play around the grading area. Great play from them, but they lost their long-range pressure. That is going to be easy pickings for the Inkjet. Inkjet's going to be fishing for a second. They do manage to pull it off, and 3 down on the side of Shadowbolt is going to give Nightmare a free pass into mid, but they just lost their lead, and a push to 42 is nothing to scoff at, especially if you lose 2 of your members just on the retake.
It is nothing to scoff at indeed. If you push on the right side, it will be a little bit faster than pushing it on the left side. That's definitely was safe for Shadowbolt. It took a hot minute, but they finally managed to get the lead and getting to a decent spot as well. But 42, remember, is not all too far from the checkpoint. It definitely is a lot closer from the checkpoint to the pedestal, the final pedestal, as you might think it is, or might think it seems to be, because checkpoint already at 60, showing how short this map really is. A very good ink fact, eating 2 Inkjet shots and getting 2 splattered as well. Huge for Shadowbolt, who are picking up the Rainmaker, putting it in a very annoying spot for Nightmare, because they're struggling to get in, they're struggling to stay alive, and Shadowbolt doing absolute damage with their Peludo, however, gets a couple splats in, helping their team a lot by preventing those players from inking the field, preventing them from getting more splats and stopping the Rainmaker. But everyone's slowly respawning, and Kiwi is already in the middle, waiting for that Rainmaker to push in, waiting to strike and to stop it down, but there's no special very close, there's no crab tank nearby, and that's going to be a little bit of a nuisance for Shadowbolt, because this crab tank will be crucial defending a Rainmaker, but there's only 10 seconds left on the clock. I don't think they really needed 2 burst bombs onto that Rainmaker to weaken it. triple strike as well. Inkfect shot mid-air, hits it, and gets the Rainmaker in a very beautiful shot as Shadowbolt takes game number 2 as well, giving themselves match point status.
Wow, that was such a great game, and Shadowbolt really showing off their strengths against Nightmare. Definitely very, very stally coming out from both sides, but Shadowbolt just managed to play that a little bit better. And like you said, this is match point, but it's not only match point, this is tournament point. This is where Shadowbolt want to see if they can take the whole tournament right here and right now. And it's all going to boil down to this game 4. Splat zones on splat zones on Barnacle and Dime. We talked about this a lot, or specifically you talked about a lot, Hat. You are very passionate about this map, and especially with some of the weapons that I play here. So tell us a little bit about what you might think we'll see coming out from these two very even.
I think one of the weapons we're gonna see, I hope these teams are gonna bring, is an E-leader, because like we saw it earlier. I don't exactly know which, I believe it was New Generation against Frostburn, where that one E-leader on the map is so incredibly strong. The fields are open, the ranges are long, there's barely any cover. So having an E-leader out here definitely improves the chances of winning. However, a ballpoint or a Hydra can do the same trick as well. I think that's something important. Missiles also are strong here because you can fight away against those long-range charges, against those E-leaders, against those Hydras. Stuff you normally can't really reach because they're just way too far back. Tacticooler also a very strong special, ends up never bad on this map mode. It paints a lot, it runs a lot, and this map is long and open, so being able to move around quickly is super crucial. But yeah, the E-leader I think is the weapon to go to Barnacle and Dime.
Yeah, honestly, I'm so excited to see which one of these turns out, because I'm surprised. Shadowbolt has played really well, and Nightmare is on the back foot here. They are right now, they're the underdogs. They need to win this game if they want to just stay in the match. While Shadowbolt are just 1 5-minute match away from running themselves champions. That is tantalizing, and we're just gonna have to see if that pressure can not get in their heads and have them keep their cool and take this set. But we're moving in here. Pretty stable composition on both sides, except for Nightmare going with a pretty interesting double splatter shot composition. That double Trizuka is going to give them a lot of kill power if they can stay alive. Joe with an instant death due to Shadowbolt's poking bombs is going to go down, and Shadowbolt already with the zone capture, those specials coming out. The crab tank from Kiwi is going to do a lot to keep them back, but it's not going to be able to survive the onslaught coming out from those tri-strikes, from those Trizukas, from Nightmare. But Val is looking to get some value from the Kraken, not quite getting it. They're going to have to stay alive, and it's just a scrappy fight on zone. But yet another Trizuka coming out from Joe, but can't stay alive. It's not quite going to get value. Fuel down the side of Nightmare. Shadowbolt also go 2 down. It's a 2v2, but it's only 1 left now on the side of Nightmare. And Shadowbolt still hold on to zone and with their map advantage.
Yeah, that cooler from Nightmare is in the zone, but it's not going to do all too much here as Sangura is trying to get Tacticooler off their own, and they have to run it from the Trizuka, who opts to go fight Nick. Gets spelled on Nick, but gets spelled right away after. 2 players are down inside of Shadowbolt. This is the chance for Nightmare to start pushing in, but I think looks like they're gonna get the push here, and as well Sangara is running back, and they're running back fast. Nick gets splatted by Miner. Miner looking forward, doesn't get the splat on Nick, and that is, or on Sangara, I believe, and that is huge because that Tacticooler out on the field will help Shadowbolt a lot, not by just movement, but also by the fact they're able to respawn faster. A lot of the base also unpainted on the side of Shadowbolt, meaning they can get some good special points here. But it looks like Shadowbolt will get Nightmare will get the lead here. Unfortunate for Shadowbolt, with 2 players down, 3 players down inside of Nightmare, that allows Shadowbolt to go back in and repaint that zone and minimize the damage that they've taken. It's a 42-point lead for Nightmare. It's not unbeatable. Only 20 ticks and 20 ticks left for Shadowbolt, and let's say 12 ticks for that lead. They're not all too far up, and it can happen at any moment. Just have to survive with 2 players down. That's not exactly the right way to do it. A lot of bombs and specials onto the zone again, trying to get control of it. 42 against 48, but a big penalty of 40 ticks on Nightmare is going to slow them down a lot.
Yeah, Shadowbolt really holding on to that zone, trying to pull off that lead, but Nightmare not backing down without a fight. 3 down on the side of Shadow. Nightmare is still with all of their members intact. They are rejuvenated here and playing really well up against Shadowbolt. That this may be that double splatter shot switch talking, since those Trizukas are getting a lot of value, and Trizuka, they have 2 online, they have 3 online with that Booyah Bomb. This could be devastating for Shadowbolt if they're not careful. Nightmare have a lot of killing potential on board right now. Those Zuka's gonna get quite a few picks, gonna be able to get Kiwi, but 2 down to the side of Shadowbolt, 3 down. It's only Sangura left alive. Now, just a little bit of remaining. Live 3 down to the side of Shadowbolt. Nightmare Sway still have all their members up. Only one of their splatter shots goes down. Kiwi goes down as well. None of the members of Shadowbolt are even close to the zone. That's a delayed wipeout. And Nightmare on game 4 keep themselves in the game. And ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to a game 5. These 2 teams are neck and neck, and thanks to this Game 4 win by Nightmare, we're going to see them go the full mile.
It is an absolute crazy tournament. These 2 teams have been facing the best of the best that there is here on FLUTI, and now they are at the final stage. Whoever wins this takes the crown. It will be held on a very good map for an occasion like this as well. Tower Control Inkblot Art Academy, a map mode which definitely brings the best out of the players here on the field. Difficult checkpoints, good high differences, flanking opportunities. This map has it all in a very nice small package. It's not like a Splatoon 1 sized map, but it's also not a Splatoon 3 Tetris block. It is a very respectable map. I like it for a final game mode like this, and Tower Control to boot makes it all the better, because they're all focused on one movable objective that goes with the teams back and forth. I think this is a great final map, and Tower Control also the one game mode where these 2 teams haven't faced each other off as of yet. Now, Bayo, what do you think these 2 teams will bring out on there? Because this has to be their absolute best A game to win this tournament.
Yeah, and honestly, really fitting that is going to be on Tower Control Inkblot. This map, oh my goodness. Everyone, if you're a competitive player, you know this map is just so... Well, I mean, I would personally say overused, but it is... At least these two teams are really comfortable with it. It's really fitting that we're going to see one of the most commonly picked Splatoon 3 maps for our Game 5 finish. These 2 actually, and we're going to be seeing a few composition changes. Nightmare switching off that double splatter shot for a double slosher for that machine tri-slosher composition. Storm moving in, trying to get a pick onto Valis. Fantastic play. That's one of the splashes on the side of Shadowbolt down. It's 2v2 right now. Nightmare not quite able to follow up on Storm's aggressive plays, and actually have Kiwi is going behind Nightmare, pressuring their sniper rifle. Really aggressive and interesting play from them, but they are going to be settling back into their more supportive playstyle with that crab tank on the left side, going to be pressuring a lot out of Nightmare. 3 down on the side of Nightmare. Shadow going to have a ton of space to move in with. This is their opportunity to get a good push going. Sangura with that tactical Nick with those tri-strikes, and the sniper on the side of Nightmare Sway back to spawn. Shadowbolt is starting to push forward in a really scary manner. Just already 1 minute elapsed in the match. Nightmare is trying to stall things out with that Booyah Bomb, but it's not quite going to happen. Valis, both splashes left alive, going to get a pick onto Miner and keep stalling out, keep staggering Nightmare. That's such a powerful skill that Shadowbolt are showing off, and already they are showing no signs of stopping as they approach the last checkpoint.
Yeah, Sungar definitely brave there, just fighting onto the front lines along with their teammates, strong and technical in a very good spot as well, so that Nick can enjoy that as well. The double Slosher composition is very nice, but the second you have to deal with one of those shooters right in your face, the Slosher is just not fast enough to deal with it. The tower already on the third checkpoint, and we're only a little bit for 2 minutes into the game, and a big lead of 19 points already set by Shadowbolt. It looks like the tower is finally going back, and Nightmare's finally getting some turf onto the field, but for how long will they be able to get that? Kiwi tried to flank, but wasn't able to, as the rest from Shadowbolt are just playing it a little bit slower, getting their specials ready. Buoy Bomb right on the face of Nick, absolutely decimating them. Same with Valis by Miner. Miner with a machine doing good damage, but now Nick with a Slosher comes back at them. It looks like Miner is still inside of the spawn of Shadowbolt. Is not enough. Storm gets a good injured shot, allowing Miner to go back in. Gets a Buoy Bomb ready, and now throws in, and now it looks like Nightmare is doing the thing what Shadowbolt did, as Miner gets 2 splats with that Buoy Bomb, and Shadowbolt is struggling, they're staggering, they're trying to get out, they're grabbing all the pieces scrapped together. Trey create a strategy to get out of this problem, because 2 checkpoints have been broken, and the third one is on the way for Nightmare. It looks like Nick trying to hit the tower. Sway, Baloo on it, gets the lead, almost gets the checkpoint as well. The tower now in the hands of Shadowbolt. They're finally getting out of it, but they lost a very good lead in a very good opening. They only have 2 minutes left to get it back, which is a lot of time, but it doesn't feel like a lot of time. But 3 minutes already has passed into this game here, Bio, as Shadowbolt is wreaking havoc on the side of Nightmare. Now it's their turn to push it again all the way to 13.
Yeah, it was a fantastic save from Shadowbolt, but it doesn't change the fact that they need to push it all the way to 13. That is something very difficult, especially when it comes to the fact that they still have to go through that checkpoint. And with just 1 minute 30, Shadowbolt is definitely doing all they can. 3 down on the side of Nightmare. They only lose their Slosher Nick. They're gonna get really close to that checkpoint. Kiwi with this crop tank shutting down any attempts at a push. 16, 15, 14. Just one more point, and they get lead, and that's a wipeout. Shadowbolt finally managed to clutch it at the very end. Move towards the last checkpoint, towards that goal, and we have our FLUTI champion Shadowbolt bringing back from that pitch and driving to that knockout. Congratulations to Shadowbolt for being your #1 team in this year's FLUTI.
Absolutely crazy. These 2 teams showed their absolute A game, brought it to game number 5, and we all thought here that 19 was a safe lead. No, make it so that Nightmare pushes into 14, and then somehow Shadowbolt goes back to this KO it, because let's be honest, that is a safe score. That is a safe lead. Absolutely crazy. Dennis Faria in chat, insane, said 10 out of 10, and I could not agree more. Everyone who voted on FLUTI's champion being Shadowbolt gets a lot of channel points there as well, so that's kind of funny. But man, Bio, what a tournament here, and this is just the beginning of an amazing FLUTI season. Division S, what a stacked tournament, what a stacked finals, and the hype was there from the beginning until the end. Amazing sets and amazing players. It was an honor to have this on to the mic with you.
For sure, but yeah, anyway, let's end this off. Thank you all so much for watching. Tell us, aside from these super hyped Dapple Productions streams,
where can we find me? Ooh, you can find me on Twitter at @CasterHead, where I'm slowly starting to get back, and you can also find me on Twitch, also at @CasterHead. I will just say hi in chat, because I am planning to start streaming Splatoon soon, and maybe stream Return of how I'm trying to get back into proper X rank shape. So look out for that in the near future. I'm still working on like getting my stream all set up and getting some nice proper layouts and a better battery for my camera so it lasts longer than 3 hours. So that's something in the works. But Bio, where can we find you?
Well, you know, of course, aside from some of the tournaments that I might cast, you can also find me on Twitter at bio__29. And of course, thank 3 main people. Of course, thank you, Dapple Productions, this stream, and which goes to our streamer Brownie. Thank you so much, Brownie, for streaming this this entire Top Cut, this Division S. And of course, we can't forget the overall hosters of this Plus Team tournament. Thank you so much to FLUTI for setting this up, and of course our classic FLUTI Season 14, which is just on the horizon, that is going to be using this tournament for their seeding. So thank you so much for them for setting up this tournament and the season. And you know, of course, thank you all for watching this massive tournament that Hat and I had a ton of fun casting. But yeah, that is going to be us signing off. Be on the lookout for future Dapple Productions streams and of course FLUTI Season 14. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. That's going to be Hat and Bio signing off.